fucking singers are.
Yeah.
Well, see, I feel like we jumped topic. You know, for the gentle listeners,
Yeah.
I think they should be filled in as to what happened.
Or Skrill did.
We're having a bit of a bitch fest. Stuff we didn't want to say on air.
Yeah.
And then we started talking. The conversation shifted, and we thought, okay, right, we're past that topic. We're ready to do what we came here to do.
Yeah.
The topic was how much work actually goes into gigging.
A lot.
And I admitted that I should probably be excluded from the conversation as a vocalist.
Yeah.
Because the work for me for touring generally involves scoring some weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrying around the little...
out in the back of the car.
And annoying the bar staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also being really cool.
Yeah.
You know, just being pretty cool about it. You know?
Being Samora Squid is definitely a full-time job.
It is.
It would be within itself.
How do you get away from it? You know?
I don't.
Yeah.
Who is the real person at this point? Squid or Samora?
Oh, there's two of us, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Samora and Squid.
Yeah.
Samora Squid, it's like, you remember in Warcraft 2, there was that mage, Cho'Gall?
Yeah.
It's a bit like that.
Uh-huh.
You know, so Cho'Gall and Samora Squid, you know how the way the...
That is actually a perfect fucking description of that. Because one side of Cho'Gall is the loony, insane, absolute freak, and then you got the brains of the Orc Mage.
Yeah, exactly. Samora is the more level-headed of the two, and he's who is speaking to you now. So a little bit biased.
Yeah. But no, going back to the gigging and that, just like I was saying, like you break down just one day of gigging. Usually, you're up early. You know, I don't think it's not, but bases are usually up because we've got to load the heavy shit, and you start like 8. You know, just to load the stuff. Maybe even have one quick run through of the set beforehand. And then load everything in, get to the place, set all that up, you know, play the show, hang around, have to endure the other bands that are on, pretend to be nice, you know.
Maybe even have to pretend to like a band to be cool.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I hate doing that. Oh, then maybe like you also got to work out other bands doing that to you too, and then you go like, shit, am I cool or not cool? Which one am I?
Yeah, I guess you just got to not worry about it, and but it's that old catch-22, isn't it? You have to be kind of nonchalant to be cool. But as soon as you start thinking about being cool, you can't be nonchalant, which means you can't be cool. Yeah, it's a bit like blinking or breathing.
Yeah, and
once you start thinking about
kind of like Zen meditation, where like you've got to be meditating, but you can't know that you're meditating.
Exactly. You start thinking about meditating, and the meditation
stops. Exactly.
It's very much the same with being cool.
Yeah. As soon as someone calls me cool, I just subvert that immediately. I'm just like, no, actually.
Yeah, I'd really like to be. That's why I dress the way I do and do the hair the way I do and play in bands. But I've been doing that for about 30 years, and it's not working.
Sure.
I think it's a shot at this point. You know.
No, I think what makes people really cool is you can't be cool in your 20s. You can think that you're cool in your 20s, you can't be. But really, when you get to your 30s, you start really realizing how much of a nerd and dork we all really are about things.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone cool to me is like, if I can sit there and talk like, hey man, like what's the fucking crit cap for rogues in WoW today? We can talk 4 hours about that. To me, that's fucking cool. Or like someone's got like a rank 1 pass or something in WoW. I'm like, oh, all right, we're talking for days. You cool motherfucker.
I remember the older metalheads that I thought were really cool when I was in my teens and 20s were the ones that were fine standing there and talking to me about Lego.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Like I met all these like geeky older metalheads and like went to like D&D and stuff like that.
A lot of Magic the Gathering in
metal. For every
as well.
Scary bogan that I ran into in the metal, my early days in the metal scene, I met these just beautiful, lovely, gentle nerds as well.
There's a band I played with them. I was like 17, and a similar thing. They look like they've just come from fucking the Hell's Angels clubhouse or something like that. Yeah. And sitting there, and they're having a game of Magic the Gathering. I was like, oh, this is, and they're like 40-year-old dudes, big great beards, awesome. Oh, hang on, what's going on with this? 20% battery. That doesn't matter. Big fucking bikie jackets and all that. Just having a game of cards. Might need it.
Is that USB-C?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Fuck yeah. And it's interesting, and that's why I always love giving shit more to metalheads, because I've met so many metalheads that try to deny that side of the scene, and it's just like, oh, come on, man, put the fucking what do they call it? The weights down.
I think I think you need to be able to see the irony and the silliness of trying to assert your masculinity or vent your anger or whatever it is you're getting out of playing metal.
Yeah.
Like the absurdity of that act, even though it's real.
It is real.
It is actually good for you psychologically and physically.
It is fantastic.
Of course it is. And
but it's got to stay on the stage.
Yeah, it's a game.
It is a game, exactly.
It's not.
We're all there to pull, stank faces at each other, get whatever. You got a parking ticket or whatever that day. Headbang that shit out, and then get off stage and play Magic the Gathering.
Mosh pits are fun.
Mosh pits are fun, especially when, except.
I'm too big for them these days.
Same, I'm too old. Fucking Saturday night, watching Operation Ibis. Someone just lightly grazed me in the fucking mosh pit, and I went down like a sack of shit.
Oh, you poor old baby.
Oh, poor Cassie had to hold me up. Actually, I'm like falling over.
It went down on me.
Yeah. I'm not ready to accept that information at the moment. I'm having a crisis about it because I love the mosh pit so much. Because I've never felt more safe in a mosh pit except at one hardcore show that I went to. Because everyone, I don't know if they've watched too many Bruce Lee movies or some shit like that. They're throwing their legs around and why?
I did a lot of mosh pits as a kid, and in my 20s. I slowed it down more, and I don't go in them at all. Except I did go in one this year, and it was for a band called Gutalax.
Gutalax
in the Czech Republic. They're not I wouldn't say they're one of my favourite bands. I would seldom listen to their recorded music, but as far as a live act goes, they are a crowd favourite at Obscene Extreme, and I do enjoy the live show. And even if you didn't like them musically, just seeing how much the vibe changes when they're on, and seeing metalheads acting like they're having at a rave is very, very surreal. It's lots of beach balls and inflatable stuff in the mosh pit, and strange costumes, lots of stage diving, and that was really, really, really fun. I was like, well, I'm going in there.
So
I'm pinging.
Even if you don't, how can you not?
Yeah.
And if you don't even really enjoy the music, you can enjoy the theatrics.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy their music. It's
But even if someone who doesn't like their taste, they can still enjoy that show there. That's cool.
It's to really see what people get excited about. You would need to see it live.
Yeah.
Another band like that for me was 6 Foot Hick.
Oh, I've heard something.
Their live show is incredible, absolutely incredible, and it's good, solid, punkish rock. Listening to the recordings, they're cool.
It's high energy and just fucking dancing.
But if you showed that to someone to try and explain what it's actually like.
Hold on, watch the YouTube video of them for a second. It's not going to translate right well. You got to bring them to the show. It's interesting you say that. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. I was like, how many bands that you've seen live do you think you would love less if you for the first time you heard them, it was on a CD or a YouTube video?
And I reckon it comes down to where you are, what you're doing, how you feel, what's going on around you.
I feel like I do give your opinion quite a lot of weight. I mean, as well as yours, Daniel. It's just
thank you.
I mean, specifically when it comes to live bands, because you've both seen so much music. When people have seen that many bands, they just know what they like, and when it's a situation where you're walking into a room and seeing a band for the first time, you just know they're good within the first 30 seconds. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to be like meeting a person.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah.
I really like those bands. As soon as they hit the stage, they instantly they draw my attention straight to them, and then my ears are just I don't hear anyone next to me. Yeah, and even not so much more of just they make it all about them, but it's I'm looking at them. It's I just from one note, I'm okay, my ears are locked right in here. I can't hear anything else but this band.
Like a duck hunters.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
What do you call those? They blow through them to hunt the ducks.
Duck caller.
Duck caller.
I think it's a duck caller.
Yeah, right.
So
a dog whistle.
A good dog whistling band is my.
You so just on the record, you like bands that dog whistle.
I do, yeah.
Okay, right.
So.
You're gonna say that, okay? Cool.
Not that kind of dog. Not that time. I like when they actually have a physical dog whistle, and They blow it, and I can only hear it.
Yeah, okay. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if I can walk into that one. But also as well, like a really well toured band, like a band that's been on the road for that. Like when Apes came here last year,
Yeah.
you could, because they did that massive US run before coming over here.
And it's in how they carry themselves, how they interact with the crowd. Because apes are really good people. They're not gonna like snub anyone. They're gonna.
They're no rock stars.
They're gonna walk among the crowd, but you can tell that. They've just met a lot of people at this point. And,
they have.
And it's
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's exhausting, man.
It can be.
That's why I spend so much time on my own.
Yeah.
I'm on the road 6-8 months a year sometimes. And like especially when you're cracking out street shows, you're out in like
God, you'll be meeting people all day,
And then it's like there as much as I want to socialize and I want to go to things. Actually, I want to go home and I want to look out the window and I want things to be quiet.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that. You know, I used to like having a drink after, but since I quit drinking,
there comes times where you just want silence. I know it's like a lot of the time, especially like if you're writing music, playing music live, there comes a point, even if it's just like a month or two, where it's just nothing but music. There's a time where you just want that silence. And that's why I've always kind of preferred hanging out.
Especially when it's your own music.
Oh God, yeah, yes.
When you make so much of your own noise and you're like.
I used to be so excited about this thing when I made it. Now I fucking hate it.
And the worst is as well, it's like fucking someone yells out one of your songs. You go, oh fuck no, oh, shit, they know it. Yeah, or it's like the tap on the shoulder. It's like you can play this song tonight, and I'm guilty of doing this all the fucking time. Like you're gonna play this song tonight, are you, man? You can just see it in their eyes, like not again, please, not again. Because we forget how many times. Because like you rehearse it, or just even when you write it, like you rarely get excited about a song for the first time. You play that song over and over and over and over and over and over again, and so by the time you even get to the first show, you could have played it 100 times and be sick of it.
Yeah.
You know. That's what cool that you brought up street performing. So how long have you been doing street art for? Or street performing, I should say.
Street shows. Street performing.
The whole time I've known you, so
like
10 plus years at least. You know.
I started doing the show that I do now, or the first version of it, in 2003.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Long time.
Yeah.
Did you start here, or was it?
I did my first street show doing like a contortion show in Launceston Mall in February 2003, and I'd just seen I'd seen a couple of freak show performers, and I realised that I could already do a bunch of stuff, like because of like my bendy arms and legs.
Yeah.
And I saw a sword swallower called Johnny Vom, who was actually from the town that I was from. He was from Penguin as well, so that was cool. So I was like, oh man, that was the guy up the road. It's like it's not a photo of some guy in India doing it. You know, it's not like someone on the TV doing it. It's like my fucking neighbour can do it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's cool.
I can do it then.
That's part of the reason I love local music in particular and local culture is that, you know, these amazing people that I look up to, I can run into in the street and it's not like they're above me. They don't act that way. And I'll buy them a coffee. And they'll say yes. They'll be down for a chat, you know. They're not going to be egotistical about it, at least in my experience. You know.
My entire career has depended on people more experienced than me being willing to have a chat with me.
Same. Yep.
100%.
All the ego I've met down here locally has been from people that I wouldn't associate with anyway. I don't want to.
No, because
I don't want to borrow them anyway.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Well, no, it's that I meet someone who has an ego, and it turns out I also don't like their art.
Yes. Yeah.
Funny how that could like.
Oh, there's plenty of people. I'm not going to name names because we're fucking recording now. We're not going to bitch.
Yep.
You're Keith.
But yes, there are people who I really do not like personally that I have to admit are really good artists.
Yeah.
But it's easier to dislike someone when you don't like their art.
Yeah.
It's
it really is.
I mean, not to be self-deprecating, but I think a lot of the reason why people like my art and what I do is because I try to be nice. You know.
But you're honest about what you do.
I'm very hard to be told, dude. You're not that good. Because I'm really nice. Don't be mean to me, you know.
Well,
I
you're
think
terrible at what you do.
I'm just nice enough to get away with how much of a cunt Squid is.
It's like separate the art from the artist in the other direction.
Yes,
you know,
no, exactly
like,
right. Yeah,
it's like, dude, you're a really good person, but fuck, your art sucks, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, like, you know.
I've always found like the nicest people who I've met who are artistic usually have the most honest art as well. And having that most honest art, almost like it's a nice barrier of like, well, I can't be a dick because I'm like people who break down my songs and show you know, that kind of stuff. So
especially when they're the kind of artist that works through their trauma through their art. I'm not saying you have to do that to make good art or any shit like that. I think that's a lot of wank, but people do it. It is a thing. People work through their trauma through art, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Often when people get that right, it's kind of helped a lot of the shit that might make someone else be a cunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sometimes if people have genuinely achieved their artistic goals and used the art to get over the thing, they're not going to take out the trauma of the thing on the people they meet.
Yeah, exactly.
So much,
yeah.
You know, they've got it out in the song. They've got it out in the painting.
That's it. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I've met a few people that have, you know, they've used their art as a reason for their bad behaviors. They're like, well, I'll just think about, you know, not being a dickhead again, and then I can just
be a dickhead.
Go be a dickhead again.
Isn't that kind of what this whole folk punk scene is based on? Isn't that?
Sometimes depends on what band. Yeah, and I'm.
All my friends are alcoholics, and I
Yeah.
get in fights with cops.
Yeah.
You know, like that's pretty much like every folk punk band.
It's either that or it's like, oh, I'm always destructive to myself. Constantly.
Yeah.
I think a through line definitely is like self-deprecation and
But
definitely self-destruction.
I've found
But it's real because it comes from
it
comes from
it comes from a real place.
And
the people I know who write good folk punk songs,
Yeah.
like they're people who have really they've done the thing of working through the shit in the song because they've fucked off and hitchhiked across the place with their guitar.
Yeah.
It's just been them and their guitar, and they're really out there in the world going, it's just me and the fucking stars and this fucking song.
And
you
it
know,
really
like,
translates a lot more. And the best folk punk songs, in my opinion, are those types of ones as well. So the ones that really like they're constantly evolving and changing as well. So you can tell they're on the road. Like you can tell like Pat the Bunny is a great example. Like when he got out of rehab, he stopped playing all the Wing Knock Dishwasher songs and Johnny Hobo songs because he's not that person anymore. And that's where it comes back to the honesty. It's like and having that is so fucking inspiring because I bullshit myself all the time, and that's what really makes the best fucking folk punk songs. Are the ones who can say, "Yeah, I've changed and I've seen this now."
Even though bullshitting yourself to a certain extent is essential for survival.
We all lie to ourselves.
Well,
we lie to ourselves first. You need to. There's a phrase called necessary illusions.
Yes.
Where like you actually need to have a level of self-deception to be able to exist on this goddamn planet. You know?
Otherwise you'd be terrified all the time.
Oh, same. Dude, if I wasn't bullshitting myself, I wouldn't have played for it. But
exactly.
And even though like all that entire time I was going around, I was like, no, they're taking the piss, right? Like, fucking, did they really listen? Like, are you guys sure? And so you're right. Yeah, definitely have to bullshit yourself. Well, none of us would create or show any of our art.
I loved your set last night for what it's worth.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
You're not too bad yourself.
I feel like I was supposed to say something about it, but sorry.
No,
I was at my dad's.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Probably better for like my long term
It would have been
life to be hanging out with my dad. You know, I'll probably treasure that moment more than.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know,
and
nothing personal.
No,
I'm sure it was wonderful.
Look,
but,
plus, like if I saw you, like if I was playing a gig and I saw you there, and I was like, "Fuck, you could be spending time with his dad."
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna think that every time I look at him. People could be hanging out with their fucking dads.
Like,
they're wasting those precious moments with me. I'm taking those moments away from them and their father.
Next
terrible person.
Next time I'm on the mic and I'm performing and like I'm like between songs. It's like call your mum.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude. Just fucking
Family's what really matters. Our self-indulgent way.
get your shit together, dude. Like
Don't use me as a distraction from your parents. Fuck. I'm using you as a distraction from mine.
I'm up here on stage so I don't have to talk to my dad. You talk to your dad.
I'm getting the fatherly validation from you guys.
Yeah. And then when I get off stage, just pretend fucking I'm your parents and don't talk to me.
Yeah, so for those listeners who are unaware, Daniel, Squid and I came off the back of a 3-day festival just past Friday, Saturday,
and it was fantastic.
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, we'll count Thursday as well.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a 5-day if you include the motor stuff as well.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty hectic. Like,
it is right.
Yeah.
It is only a couple of days, but it feels like a lifetime. It really does. It's almost kind of like time stops existing here, and we're just.
But I feel like that's because there's so much humanity in the festival where you're meeting. You're not just meeting like a bunch of punters. You're meeting real, like we were saying, real honest people.
You are, yeah.
Who are very genuine, and that causes some time dilation.
It really does, and especially when
we'll be in a chat, and you're like, well, I feel like we've been here for an hour, and you're like, 15 minutes.
No, exactly. And I think having everyone here as well who wants to, like, who has so much fun seeing live music and seeing all that, and it just makes everyone else have so much more fun.
Yeah.
So that, when you seeing other people dance, it's kind of like sneezing. It can be contagious.
Yeah.
And like seeing everyone dancing, you dance more. And, like if you usually go to a show and people will sit in the back a little bit by themselves and all that, someone will just come up and say, "Hey man, how you going? Like, what's your name?"
Yeah.
And that can just help people's confidence so much.
There's actually a trade secret I want to give away.
Okay. This is awesome.
Yeah. So it's a trade secret for a reason. It's because it actually hurts whoever's playing if it's an empty room. So human beings, the flesh of human beings, are actually one of the best conductors for bass.
Yes.
In the world. So when you have a full room, it actually sounds a lot better because the soundy is able to just be like, you know what, I'm actually able to give it a little bit more. It's going to sound better because the bodies are there to literally ground the sound.
Yeah.
Like
pounded into the epidermis of the people
literally.
Fucking earth.
That's why when you're
that's why bass players are so important.
Exactly. That's why you're
this head of skin invasion.
No word of a lie. Like for sure. Like it means so much to a soundy when there's a packed room because then they get to have fun. When it's an empty room or even a half-filled room, they're working so hard to make it sound good.
Yeah.
When the trade secret is that if you filled the room, it'd just sound better. That's why I work so hard to have good turnouts because it helps everyone involved.
Do you think having a smaller place as well is a lot easier? One, to fill the room, but also just to manage. Yeah. Like
so it's worth having like a whole bunch of people cryogenically frozen out the back. So not enough punters turn up. You can
bring
defrost
them,
them,
thaw them out. Yeah.
Well, what I need is my own cloning device of some description, so I can have 100 skrills in the room, all understanding what.
Have a
understanding your art.
What is going on?
Unlike the rest of those Philistines.
Skrillzone.
Skrillzone. Oh, dude. Would you guys lose track? It would be like, the original clone.
We definitely get into that. Like I definitely be like, I actually don't know if I'm the real one anymore.
Yeah.
This one's skrilling harder than I ever have. So, it could be him, dude.
But
I don't know.
Maybe they'd see you as, the rough draft.
The rough draft.
The real
the prototype,
Talk about imposter syndrome.
You're the beta testing
I'm the one, dude. I'm the guinea pig, really.
That's next level fucking imposter syndrome.
Or I mean the guinea prawn,
Oh, the guinea prawn.
The guinea prawn.
Yeah.
Guinea prawn. Is that a prawn the size of a guinea pig?
I've seen fucking guinea prawns.
Yeah, for a size of a prawn. Would that become like a fucking crayfish at that point? Or are they all crayfish?
I don't know. Well, I mean, they're different animals.
I know nothing of sea life.
I realised that I should know more about them, but
so do I. I live on a port.
I feel like passing the buck to Skrill at this point because if we're onto cephalopods, it'd be more my area of expertise, but I don't feel comfortable kind of squid-splaining
Yeah.
different anatomical
Yeah.
idiosyncrasies
Yeah,
of
look,
krill and
look,
plankton or whatever.
Look, I mean, what squid has to understand is that they have the privilege of having tentacles. You know, like that's you know that's a
Tentacle
powerful
privilege thing, yeah.
It's
a lot of
powerful
propulsion.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll like this. This is not a trade secret. It's public information. I am incorporated.
Wait, really?
I have
Skrill Inc.
Skrill Inc.
Skrill Inc.
I always thought getting squid ink could work, but I don't even really know what it means, what ink or limited or any of those things.
It's usually a black liquid stuff they spit out.
It's what you used to sign something with.
Can you imagine
in the olden days?
In the olden
I just got a
days,
picture of Squid just like if he ever signs a contract or anything, he just gets over the table, squats out ink, and signs his name that way.
The only reason I became incorporated is because to use legitimate point of sale systems, which is what you had to do if you're accepting donations now. You can't just have cash. A lot of people still have cash, but you need FPOS. And if you're going to have FPOS in Australia, you need to be some sort of incorporated, or you need to be signed up as a non-for-profit or something. And I'm not not-for-profit. I make money to run this organisation, if you can call it that here. Like,
could you ever call it like a charitable community event or
well,
something like that?
see, the problem with being a non-for-profit or listing yourself as a charity is it actually adds more labour to the mix.
Okay.
You then have to fill out more paperwork, and there's more bureaucratic hurdles to jump over. And I'm not ready for more labour yet.
You don't have a suit?
I'm already delegated to the hill. Like
I've never heard anyone go, "Yay, more labour!"
Yes, more bureaucracy. That's what I need in my life.
More pain and time wishing I was doing something else.
Yep. So I really just made the snap call at the beginning of this year when I was looking into how to get cards working here. I was like, fuck it, Skrill Inc. Like, it's catchy and it just solves a lot of my problems. It also means that when it comes to tax time, I've like, as opposed to in the US where it doesn't matter what you
got a reason money's suddenly appearing in your bank account.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I got my idea.
No. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Saves a lot of headaches down the road.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the day I do get audited though, so that I can post really good memes about it. You know?
Oh, the meme game will be fucking strong.
Skrill getting audited by the ATO, come on. What are we doing?
You know,
hell yeah, dude.
Imagine like it shows up on fucking one of their desks and it's like Skrill Inc.
Dude ends up on the ABC. Some dude.
Oh, please let it happen.
Some dude running shows in a residential area, operating without a commercial license. You know.
Yeah.
Send him to jail.
Yeah. Man, if Today Tonight was still a thing, you'd have been on there by now.
Oh.
When she was yelling at me out the front, I'm like, go to a current affair. I was so ready to be like, just go to a current affair, man. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Dude.
We can get some great television.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I'll split, they pay for
I'll
stories.
get you paid. You know,
Split it
like,
with
yeah.
you. Like, maybe there's an amicable solution.
She put on a good show.
Yeah.
It was a really good show. Like, she was.
Some people are just natural.
She was animated.
I've got to ask, was she pissed because you didn't book her that night?
Well, she was probably pissed because I didn't book the TSO.
No.
More to her speed, but I can't speak too much on it, obviously, because
you haven't asked her what her musical tastes are.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give her a little form to fill out.
It's because you didn't listen to her EP.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, known the songs.
I mean, honestly, the real reason would probably be I rent and she owns a house, so that's what it comes down to. You know, like it's just class antagonism.
If she's
fucking surf.
If she's technically paying a mortgage, then she's technically renting too.
Yeah, and I'm sure they are. Or if they have paid it off, she's even more of a scumbag to me.
How dare she?
Dude.
I will ask as well. So yeah, what motivated you to
start everything?
Kick-ass fucking house shows.
Well, I've actually been doing it for a lot of years, and Squid can back me up on that.
I never met this guy. I never seen nothing.
If you see any coppers, you tell them you didn't see nothing.
I see a lot of things.
Oh, what is going on?
Don't know no Phil.
Skrill. What, Lex? Lex? The dubstep guy? Here?
When did he move to Tassie?
That's crazy, man.
Tell him to put his band back together. It's a lot better.
Dude, from first to last in the Skrillzone, what are we doing, dude?
Come on, how's it not happened yet?
Yeah. No, so, I mean, really what inspired me to do this, it comes from a real emotional place. Like, I felt deeply angry and full of rage about the state of the scene. In 2021, we had a very special venue, so a lot of people shut its doors, and I won't get into specifically how that happened, because honestly it's really messy, and the gory details will make you even more depressed, you know.
And we don't want that.
No. And then almost exactly a year later, it was like really close to around the same time a year later, the Arts Hall shut, and that was another community sort of hub up in Ferntree, really special. They didn't really put much on a lot all the time, but when they did, it had been going for so long that they had a really good band room. It was set up nice, totally good faith system. $10 for 4 hours, you know, and they weren't even there to like.
They call it Zoe's School. They called it.
Yeah, that was before. That was before the Arts Hall. So it was bought out. It was bought by the community, like all of the families that lived around.
That makes it even more special.
Callum Cusick lived there for a long time, and basically had it as an artistic hub. Did a lot of really cool shows there, and it was a really good practice spot for bands.
People lived there too.
Yeah. Sorry.
Some people were living up there as well.
Yeah. Callum and
so it's real communal, fucking.
Yeah. I think cool. If I'm not mistaken, Callum Cusick and George Lucy were living there, and they host other people there too. You know.
I had friends that.
So that was the next nail in the coffin, where I was like, what the hell is happening? What are we turning? What are we living for? Like all of these spaces.
Are some really good telly.
Now,
if you want to know what to live for, there's some awesome tellies.
I like movies,
dude. Coronation Street's broadcasting over here now, so
fuck it. If there's no venues, we'll just watch telly.
Dude, that's fine.
The footy's on.
Footy's on.
That's fine, but like,
got to build a new stadium.
Oh fuck yeah.
Unless you ungrateful fucking lefty communist Tico stoppers.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of footy. Right?
Those fucking socialist stadiums, I tell you.
So like we just had a bunch of venues close, and I was ready to throw in the towel and just watch TV and work from home. I was doing data analysis for a long time here.
Never picked you as a data analysis guy.
Well, I see a lot of shit. So I was just working from home. I wasn't even really able to pay the bills doing it, but it was a lot of fun. Like I was still in Centrelink. I'd just report my income and they'd supplement it. But it was good because I could choose my own hours, and I was out of the scene. I had to take a sabbatical because I couldn't take the loss of the spaces, and nothing was happening. Like no bands were playing for from 2021 right through to 2023. I was roped back into the scene by one Quentin Trembath, because
who played amazingly last night, by the way.
Yep, he played really good. He started a band called Who Threw That, and it's right up my alley. It's Midwest emo, twinkly, math rock, sad stuff. I was like, look, if you need a bassist, I'll happily jump in. And he's like, sure, come try out. And I've known Quentin and David for basically my whole life. So it was really special when they said yes to me playing. And that was me dipping my toes back in. I was like, maybe I can do it again. Let's see what happens. And that's when I started hanging out more at Simple Cider, and I put in probably a year's worth of labour there, gig running and just attending shows again. Just going to gigs and seeing bands and getting back into the scene.
Falling back in love with it,
Yeah, and then when Simple shut for reasons, I can say the basics. Basically, the HCC, the Hobart City Council, have new legislation surrounding what's called an occupancy permit, which essentially means that if you are hosting a public event, you need to have criteria met and fulfilled, requirements like a fire safety code, like a fire plan, disability access, like just a whole list of a list of things you need to do before you're able to host an event. I won't mention venues by name, but there are a lot of venues around Hobart that are not up to spec and are not to code, that the Hobart City Council gives a pass because they've already been open and running and generating revenue for years and years and years, and the HCC that's money. There's money in the bank.
If
it
the
comes
business
down
is
to money.
if the business is clearly making money, then they're going to be able to pay their rates.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is
high rates.
correct. So you have a situation where Simple Cider, a young venue, they want to make an example of them. So they're going to say, can you please meet the requirements for the occupancy permit, so that we have a precedent to hold the future venues to account to. We can be like, we did this with Simple Cider. This was the process. Blah 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 blah. And to HCC's credit, because it's not a monolith, there are factions within HCC. Like
And it's a system made up of people.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there are people on council who do take the musicians' side,
Yeah.
but they're not the property developers on
And not
the Hobart City
yeah.
Council. They don't have skin in the game financially.
Yeah.
They're people who were elected by constituencies who, again, believe in the arts and they're representing their interests, you know. But with Simple, what they were being asked to do, like, again, yeah, just to get back to why I'm giving the HCC credit, which is rare, you'll never hear it.
You've heard it
You'll
here.
never
Hear it first, folks.
You'll never hear it from me. They did give the venue like a grace period of like 3 months to get it done.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, the building surveyor, who was a private contractor, you know, not involved with the HCC in any way, really dropped the ball and didn't get back to Simple Cider in a timely fashion.
That sucks.
So the grace period ran out, and the people who were friends on the Hobart City Council were like, our hands are tied. You haven't done enough to extend the grace period and to show us that you're working on this. And it all came to an end, and this was at the end of November last year. You know, if there's anyone who wants to correct me on this, feel free, but I've heard it.
You're wrong.
Please, I'll be the first to change my tune, but like that, I've heard this from
Multiple sources.
Well, the horse's mouth. You know, like I've heard it not just from representatives from Simple, but also people who work on the council. You know, like
a drummer, I won't say who, but
Yeah.
explained it to me for like December.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
the same way you did as well.
Yeah, that's what happened. I remember the date specifically. It was December the 10th. I remember because it was a Monday,
Yeah.
like today.
Like today.
And
Monday is my favorite time
what,
of year.
What really pissed me off is that I was, what made me so goddamn livid, I was coming to the end of a pretty good year's run of like, okay, I'm sort of a musician again. This is great. I'm having the best time. Maybe Simple is I'm not going to say the new Briz, but a place where we can do stuff that's cool, and they're going to allow us to do it.
It's the Briz's successor, no matter how you look at it.
I agree. You know,
It's a great venue
I couldn't
to play
agree
as well.
more. Yeah, and it's open plan. It's a nice floor stage.
Yeah.
Really,
There's places to sit.
There's places to sit. You know,
Yeah,
really,
that's
and
awesome.
you know, you're able to drink outside. You know,
Yeah.
and so all of this stuff, you know,
And
all
the
these
people there are
factors-
cool as fuck as well.
yeah.
So
So
It just needs the things that the Brizzy had,
yeah,
like a pinball machine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
room
the
for
fucking and fucking karaoke nights.
Yeah.
And like bingo and like all that shit that
So-
wasn't live music.
So
You know?
So yeah, we had a show booked at Simple for December the 15th. We get the news from Simple that we're really sorry, but we've been cancelled. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to cancel all the shows for the rest of the summer. And I was beside myself. I at the time had I didn't have this space. It was being used by someone else, and I wasn't comfortable broaching it with them. You know, I'm talking about this basement.
Yeah.
But then after the Simple catastrophe, and we lost that show,
You're like, fuck it.
I was like, what?
Hey, just make a Hail Mary attempt at
Like,
it.
why is my show the first on the block of all the people?
Yeah, true, actually.
Like, why? I was about to play a good simple show with all my mates.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
And
Everyone else got to do one.
yeah.
Damn it, Mum, why can't I play
Exactly.
too?
Yeah, it's like they're hogging the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop running the time, dickhead.
so like that was the Monday, and the rest of the bands on the lineup, because it was all of the bands were so keen for this gig, because it was all the homies. It was the end of the year. We were like, let's wrap it up. Like, it's about to be Christmas. Who cares? Let's just have one more. And everyone was scrambling to find an alternative venue, and the Grand Pooh Bar was an option. But I'm looking at the timeline. It's only 5 days out. We're probably going to have to run our own sound. We're probably going to have to run our own door. This, that, and the other, you know. And I'm like, if all of that's the case, why not just do it at my house? Why not just do a fucking house show? Because I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm
with
just
the price of parking.
I'm so sick of putting so much time and energy into spaces that are not my own, and at the end of the day, I don't have supreme creative control, and like, it hurts when spaces that are sacred to you and you've put time and energy into are taken away. You know,
it's deflating as fuck. It really is.
It's dehumanizing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, like, it destroys communities.
It gets rid of your sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people had a sense of belonging at the Brews. Like, there was very few places that I would actually like to go out in Hobart.
And you get excited about to go.
Where I can actually fucking dress the way I want.
Yeah.
And no one's going to give me a hard time for having coloured hair or fucking wearing tight pants or something like that. You know, like, and I could go there and fucking get a meal. I didn't even have to fucking go to the bands, you know. But I could go out for dinner, like, on my own. Very likely see people I know.
Yeah.
It's like a home away from home.
Yeah.
That's it. Those third spaces, man. Like, that's what community
they're very
is.
rare.
Third spaces. It's not my place.
Yeah,
it's not your place. It's a place we both know, though.
It's a third
we're both
place.
welcome at.
Yeah, and like, there are still people who I'm seeing, and this is 3 years after the place is shut. There's still people I'm seeing around who I haven't seen in that whole time.
Yeah.
And we're like, the last time I saw you was probably at the Briz, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. It's because we caught up there.
Yeah.
We met there.
Yeah.
You and I met
100,000%. Yeah.
Like,
you make family at those places.
I see you much less than I
Exactly.
did. Much less.
Most of my best friends, off the top of my head, I met through the Briz. You know, so it's really, really dehumanizing to lose that space, because it breaks people up.
Because
it's separating families, goddammit.
It takes
Literally,
away the sense of humanity that you get from community.
Like, my mental health really suffered during the pandemic because I couldn't go to live shows and I couldn't have my community. I was, you know,
it was alright at first. When the Briz reopened, you remember that?
I remember.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like Woolies were like one of the first bands to play.
Oh, that would have been a cool show there. Holy fuck.
And
missed out on so much.
First mosh pit in the country after lockdown, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah, it would have been, because the rest of the country was still locked down.
Yeah, you guys were the first to open up.
Yeah,
so.
we got away.
No, we closed for the longest.
Yeah.
If you consider the fact that we're on an island,
and
that we had very little interaction with the rest of Australia for a 3-year period. It was very little back and forth.
Were you guys salty when you had to have interaction with the mainland again?
Yeah,
because suddenly we had
like,
to do social
100%.
distancing again.
Literally,
true,
because we were in a bubble. We were in our own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I complain about my pandemic personally, like, I had a bad one. I'm sure many people did, but here was the best place to be.
Yeah.
We're on an island.
Yeah.
We
go
have
fucking bushwalks. Go mess around.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, So anyway, like, I made this place functional between Monday and the Friday. It was 3 days.
A lot of work.
It was 3 days of straight labor to get this place functional, because it was a hoarder's paradise. Like, I had to Tetris so much shit because I'm not throwing it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so you got to find a place for it where.
And honestly, all of the things are now safer than they were before. They're more secure than they were before.
You know, it's cool that you bring that up, because Thursday night I didn't. Not one point was like, oh, that's probably going to fall down on us at any point. It's like not one moment was I even thinking about that. It's like, it felt so secure in here and everything.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of work down here, like a lot of fucking DIY renters. You can probably tell.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It doesn't look like a professional job.
Well, I'm not a man of the hammer, so I can't really critique it, but...
Yeah, so like I'm really proud of what I've done here, but I must confess it started from a place of like deep rage and anger and reaction. I was not thinking it through all the way. I had an idea of what it might turn into, but for me at the time it was like, I just want to fucking play, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Just give me
that's
my
it,
5 minutes, dude.
And also,
I want my mates to be there.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just want to hang out with my friends and watch them play as well, and it's really good music.
And it's so much better than going to see like Metallica or something.
Yeah, and also, sorry to say it, I'm really sorry to say it, I don't want to pay fucking $14 for a pint.
No, same. Fuck that shit.
You know,
in this economy, no
and it's
way.
not like I'm wanting to get completely like fuck-eyed.
No, you want a good
I don't want to. I just want to have a couple of drinks, and not be able to pay rent.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like, at the start it was just like, I just want to put on free shows for my mates. I just want to run house shows, and then it turned into this over time. Like we're coming up on a year now. We're coming up on
fucking awesome,
1 year, and I
And
didn't know I'd last this long. I thought I'd get shut down in the first 5 minutes.
Well, because how like the way you run it and everything as well is probably a testament to that. But like you're right, house shows, especially like really good ones, don't last that long.
No.
They're a very short span of life.
I've seen houses crash and burn over this shit. Like so many evictions just because people are trying to have fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally,
yeah.
that's all that's happening. And not to get into the political side of it, but we are still experiencing a housing crisis. Like it is ongoing. Like rent is it's literally untenable.
Yeah, it is.
Like you can't
everywhere.
Yeah.
Globally.
You know, yeah. So
because of the Liberal government.
well, yeah, it's all Liberal now.
It is.
Yeah.
I blame Reagan.
Well, it all goes back to like
Reagan and Thatcher, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
Reagan and Thatcher.
100%.
Oh, she was an annoying mother.
Yeah, well.
Oh, she really was.
It's one of the.
I wasn't even alive, and I'm annoyed by her.
I mean, her grave
is still being felt.
Fucking oath. What's the Frank Turner song? Thatcher fuck the kids.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That sums it up right there.
I mean, isn't her grave like the only real, true gender neutral bathroom on Earth? Like, isn't that true?
Oh, no, I think
isn't that the joke?
Well.
Also, it's the world's first gender.
Yeah. 100%.
That fucking.
I've never heard that before. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that.
Well, it's not mine. I stole it.
Oh, that's beautiful, Skrill.
That is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I'm. Last year I was dipping my toes back into the scene, and I didn't know if my real true passion for it was still there. I was like, oh yeah, I'll play bass for a band, and it'll be fun. I love the music, but like, maybe I won't get too involved. And then I played it simple and met that community and realized that half of the ex-Brisbane hotel staff were working there. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could hang out here. You know?
Yeah,
and a lot of punters were going there too.
Yeah, it was like, a lot of, we called them the Bris refugees. You know, they found a home there. They found asylum there.
You know something else that was great about the Brizzy? So when I quit drinking,
they
always used to, like, anytime one of my bands played or whatever, they'd always give me some beer, like, give you a jug of beer, a couple of jugs of beer or whatever, and I was like, well, I don't drink anymore, but I still want a perk, like, why am I being denied a perk because I
don't drink?
Because I don't
drink.
Exactly,
You know?
Like, and they're like, all right, we'll give you dinner. Because they had, like, good food there.
Yeah. Oh,
and
fucking
so, like, I would
legends.
go there, and, like, they were quite happy to give me a good fucking solid pub meal.
Yeah.
For me to get up on stage and hit a drum and scream through a delay pedal for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude,
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I saw that act. I remember.
I need to see that.
Like,
I need to see it.
But, well, the thing is, like, people who go and hang out at the Brisbane on a fucking Wednesday night at 7 o'clock are quite happy with seeing someone.
Yeah.
You know, someone who runs a venue like the Brisbane understands from a fucking fiscal point of view that there is actually a market for that.
There really is.
As
there really
long
is.
as you're okay with your venue being a dive bar.
Yeah,
As long as you
exactly.
don't try and make it pretty and shiny
Yeah, no,
and
exactly.
like it's in
And
some
there's something
fucking catalog.
romantic about dive bars as well. Like,
Fuck oath.
there is something
Fucking
so-
oath there is.
someone like, you know, in seahorse position up on the fucking bench, you're like, okay, he's been here for 40 years.
But
You know,
most
and
of-
like,
yeah.
it's beautiful. It really is.
There's a
Because-
venue I won't name in Hobart, but they're the venue equivalent of pre-ripped jeans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They've been designed by someone who's had a punt venue described to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about, right?
I do.
They're hosting PunkCon.
They're the AI they're the AI generated CBGBs.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow, claws out.
Yeah.
We got to that point in the chat.
Sorry,
This kid's got claws.
All right, time to spill the tea.
We won't, I'm not naming names. I know where my bread's buttered.
Fuck it, oath.
Yeah.
But I think I need to calm down.
Yeah.
Do you reckon I could get one of those skins?
You certainly can, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just thought about, like, I'm just thinking about the state of things.
Oh.
It makes me
Absolutely.
angry, Skrill.
Yeah. I
It
know.
makes me
annoying.
so fucking angry.
Yeah.
Fucking, my dad played in bands all throughout the early
What a
90s.
cunt. Oh,
no,
sorry. I thought we were
motherfucker.
talking.
He is a bit of a cunt. Sorry, Dad. I love you, but you're a bit of a cunt, right? I'll get into this. I'll go back to my point in a second.
Yeah.
When I was 11, right, me and him were watching the very first episode of John Safran's Music Jamboree.
Yeah, great.
Lo and
television.
hold, who comes on? Frenzal Rom playing Punch in the Face.
Oh, on the
Pakistani-
weird,
Yeah,
like foreign instruments.
Yeah,
Where
on
were they
Pakistani
from?
instruments.
Yeah.
So Lex is sitting there playing the intro, the bass riff on fucking sitar. Yeah. And I am rolling around the floor laughing my ass off thinking it's the greatest thing.
It was
Yeah.
great, wasn't it?
And then Dad, you go, oh, you really like that? And like 20 minutes later, comes back and says, come listen to this. Because we had dial-up at that point, so it took a while to like, you know, legally download that
Yep.
song. And I hear the first bass like, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing with the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah.
Holy shit, so your dad was a Frenzal fan?
He was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But here's his kicker, right? This is where he becomes a bit of a cunt. Alright.
As
So-
a Frenzal fan, I'm sure he's okay with you calling him.
Yeah. I asked him, it's like, hey, did you ever play with these guys back in the day and all that? It's like, no, they were around, but I never shared the stage with them or anything like
Are
that.
you about to tell me you're Tom Cruise's son?
No.
He
No.
does look a bit like him,
No, I'm
doesn't
not.
he?
I'm not. But I tried imitating him so fucking. To be like, he saw the band I used to play, and he fucking came to one of our gigs once, and I'm like moving on the stage exactly like he is. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ecstasy.
Yeah, that's his secret. That's his trade. No more trade secrets.
So there's
Yeah,
this.
it's intergenerational. I mean, the MD flows through the blood.
It does, it is.
Yeah,
And my
you
mum
probably
took a
woke
lot
up
of
by
it. So,
yeah.
so there's a Facebook page called I Went Off in the Adelaide music scene in the 90s. And they post all these old flyers and all that. And I find one with his band, The Egg, Frenzal Rom, Tism, fucking Spiderbait. I sent it to him. So I'm like, look, we're going to have a fucking chat now. Because I remember you saying this, you never played with them at all.
So your dad was in The Egg?
He was in The Egg, yeah.
And they played with Frenzal and Tism?
Yes.
The same show?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Well,
like,
I didn't know I was sitting with royalty.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Couldn't you tell?
I don't know if we can be mates now. You're kind of like too close to fame.
Yeah, you're
for
too
me,
cool.
you know.
Yeah.
Man,
I've got an image to maintain as an underdog, you know.
The whole act of being a broke fucking dork is fucking coming to light that it's all false. Cassie,
Actually
run.
a rock star.
Really? Does that mean you can pay my rent now?
From the royalties? No.
Yeah.
I've got a boathouse you don't know about.
I've had a weird little, I don't know, it's not a brush with fame, but like I used to go out with a guy who claimed to be, I'm sure there's probably some legal bullshit. If I say that he just claimed it, I'm not going to get sued.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, all right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, this person.
Wait, what's his name? Whisper it to me and I can
I'm
say
not
it.
giving anyone's fucking names. But I used to go out with this guy who claimed that his dad was a session bassist in the band The Divinals.
Wow.
Holy shit.
At some point in the 80s or
Yo.
late 70s or whatever.
Wow.
And that he'd hooked up with this person's mum.
Yeah.
Ah.
And they met later in life. Which...
Do you believe it?
Oh, look, I really want it to be true.
Fuck it, why not?
But, you know, like, this person was full of shit about so many other fucking things.
Obviously,
it's
you're full of shit about the love as well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some people, it's one of those people that's like, why do you fucking lie about shit when
Yeah.
I know about so much awesome true shit? And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know those people, like, I know a couple of people like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That you just like sitting with them and they're your mate or whatever. And
They're trying to
just
overdo it.
Yeah, you're just like, why are you making shit up when we all already like you?
I mean,
Yeah.
Start,
I
like,
used to lie a lot as a teenager, but I think it was because I was bored. Like
it's
I just
part of-
didn't have anything going on, so I just, I
you're
just
testing. You're testing the people around you and yourself, and what you could get away with as a teenager.
just to spice it up a little bit,
Yeah.
Like now I just don't have to, because honestly I couldn't write. I could spend 10 years trying to write a black comedy and it wouldn't be as funny as my life, Like,
I like to take rumors that I hear about myself and accentuate them a bit.
oh yeah.
They're the fun shit.
Oh yeah, you got it. You got
Yeah.
to keep. You got to keep. the
Keep
haters
people on their
guessing.
toes, yeah.
Until it gets really awful, like
And
you
then you're like-
killed several school
Yeah.
children.
And then you're
Yeah.
hang on,
It's like, no, it
wait
wasn't
a
7, it was
minute.
actually 9.
Every Skrillzone I run, somehow a kid will come up to me and be like, "Is this the last one?" And I'm like, "Where did you hear that? Where's this coming from?" At no point do I say this is the final one.
Fucking generation got abandonment issues.
They
Yeah, 100%.
Fucking
yeah,
oath, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that as a diss. It's,
No,
it's more
no,
with
come on.
dismay.
No,
that I
Yeah,
say
it's,
it,
yeah.
the proof is in the pudding. my friend.
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
really is.
That's something else I want to say. I don't think I've met a generation of people that I'm less envious of. I hate to think what it would be like to be a young person right now,
Oh, it'd be
staring
fucking
down the
terrible.
barrel
Fucking terrible.
of the future
Yeah.
that's to come.
So my sister's 15 years younger than I am,
Yeah.
and I see her like the way her and her friends like interact with each other and that. I'm just thinking, oh god,
Yeah.
I would hate that.
I have younger cousins, like who are many years my junior, and I look at them and I'm so proud of them because they're able to live through all of this and still be,
Normal,
like
yeah.
an okay,
Yeah.
okay human being and decent and kind. That's one of the things that really shifted for me when I came back into the scene, meeting all these freshly turned 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are the kindest and most gentle people.
Mhm.
Like, I remember when I was coming up, when I was 17 and 18 and 19,
Yeah.
all of my friends were a bunch of derelicts,
Oh,
man.
dude.
Like, just,
I was the king
some
derelict.
heinous
Yeah.
behavior, like, that
Oh,
I didn't stand by then and I don't stand by now, but, like, that was the culture back then,
Mhm.
Like the
It
house
was that
shows,
MTV culture.
the house shows that I had when I was young, that I first went to, like, people were getting literal alcohol poisoning, like,
Yeah.
across the board.
Mhm.
And it's like, does that happen at house shows now? Sure. I just don't feel like it's to the same extent.
No,
I
and
feel like a
if
lot
that
of kids
happens,
are rocking up and
yeah.
just watching the music.
But I think there's more people being aware of that happening, especially
Yeah.
like older people at like a show
Yeah.
are keeping a better eye on the younger,
Yeah.
on the kids coming up these days.
Yeah.
Especially like the 18,
Because
19.
some of us have fucking quit and actually lived this long as a
Oh, yeah.
result.
Oh,
You know,
Yeah.
I like to be like a good physical example of like, hey man, if you keep drinking that way, you're gonna lose
Yeah.
this. Like this is your future, my friend.
Yeah.
Fucking
I just
be wary.
set an
Have some
example
water.
by having fun without
Yeah.
alcohol, man. You know?
So I have met a few young
No, that's not
users.
true. I've never been seen having fun.
Well, how can you when the council takes it away?
Yeah, that's right.
But I've seen some like young, like 19 or 20-year-old musos coming up, and I'm looking at them going, "Oh fuck, that was me." I'm like, oh no, and it's just like, oh, the same like whole, like, oh, I'm against everyone and everyone's against me, and it doesn't matter. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then I get really annoyed. I'm like, fucking stop reminding me, cunts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing now as well, because I was always that fucking started playing in bands when I was like 13, 14, and I was always like the kid in the band and all that, but I was always like the very, very drunk kid, and there was no real, especially like the first quote unquote real band that I joined, like started playing in pubs. The singer in that band, man, was a complete fucking wank. Like, he didn't give a shit. Like, that I was dropping pills at like 15 and fucking getting like the point of where like I'm passed out in his car and I'm waking up, like throwing up as I'm waking up and all that stuff. And these days it seems as if I think it's probably I'm one of a million musos that came up around that time, have the same stories and all that shit, and now they're a lot more aware.
Yeah, a lot of the people who mentored me were probably pretty irresponsible.
Mm.
You know, even the kind ones.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't, and you know, some are just dicks, and some there's like just blatant abusive behaviour or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, for the most part, I feel like I had pretty positive mentors. You know, like I can only think of like one kind of toxic mentorship.
Yeah.
It was a significant one. But it's more like even the really fun ones, the really friendly ones that would do anything for you and not like, they were encouraging me to drink to excess.
Yes, it was, yeah.
They were encouraging me to gamble. They
Yeah.
were encouraging me to smoke a lot of pot, which as a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I shouldn't have been doing.
No, there's a line for sure. Like there's experimenting, but then it's going way too far.
Yeah. But like I spent like when I moved to Melbourne, I was like 18, 19, and so like I ended up like hanging out with a bunch of street performers, most of which were in their late 20s, early 30s, even 40s, some of them, and so it was like I was a kid to them. Like they,
oh hell yeah.
But they definitely felt a sense of responsibility for me. Like absolutely.
And especially because that seems like such a harsh life to live as a street performer, especially if you're traveling a lot. Sometimes
it can be. It can be if things aren't going right.
Yeah.
It can be a real cunt. Like it can really beat you up.
Because that's a whole. Just street performing in itself is a whole new level of like, thing like, you're right there, fucking on the battlefield.
It's so raw.
It is so raw.
Like,
they've got
I've
to
had
climb
some
up on a
pretty
stage to get
fucking
me.
embarrassing street shows in my life. Many of them here in Hobart, where people who've known me my whole life have seen it and regularly see me again for the following years.
What I keep telling people, like a mantra I've had this year, is like, a shit show's better than a no show.
Fucking oath.
Alright?
As long as you learn something from it,
Yep.
and as long as you don't keep having shit shows for the same shit reasons every fucking shit show, you know? Like when I find myself, whether it's like fucking up and it just being shit, like, you know, making timing slips or fucking up my diction or whatever, you know, that annoys me enough. But when I find myself like being a cunt in the same way in the street show, because it is very easy to just get pissy out there.
It would be.
When it's windy, it's in your face, and
raining
people are
and
being
all that
dicks.
shit,
And some people aren't being dicks, but they're still fucking annoying, you know. And like,
and you might not have had enough sleep the night before and all that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the one I did the other day before I came to HBC. Like, it was cool, you know. It was an alright enough show. Like, I didn't have high hopes. It was kind of a windy, grey day. There wasn't a lot. But I did see something that just kind of got me down in the show. Like, and it wasn't like, I think it was actually quite awful, but it was really subtle. What I saw. I'll tell you what I saw. So when I do the show, you know, generally people start gathering pretty far away, and the first 10 minutes is sort of spent kind of gently encouraging them to come over and gather around a circle, so that way you're not taking up too much space. And like, and you're not getting in the walkways and shit. You're not blocking off stalls, and also as well, it can help like sort of the closer they are to me, the better they can see my face and hear my voice and all of that shit. You know, it's just it's they have a better time.
They do,
when they're closer. Whether they like. It might be hard to convince them that will be the case.
And it's a bit more interactive.
Well, you're a stranger, and especially when you look like I do, I've got fucking 2 tongues coming out of my head.
You gotta let them know it's a show and not an escape.
Mohawk, I'm covered in tattoos and piercings. Like, for a lot of people, even though body modifications and tattoos are a lot more acceptable than they were
it still
when I was a
freaks
kid
out
in
some
the 90s.
people.
People are terrified about it. And
but when they find out you're a sweetheart, it's all good.
When I managed to manipulate them into thinking about it. I tell you what, someone paid me a weird compliment one time that I've thought about a lot. It was a friend of mine performs under the name Doc Andrew, and he's an older street performer. He does a table magic show, and he's really good magician. He's good with whips and stuff as well.
In the bedroom too?
I don't know much about his personal life. I've met his partner though, his husband, and his husband is lovely. And I don't want to besmirch their reputation on this. But the only thing I'll say about him is that he did say that he was a little bit jealous of the fact that my persona in my show is a bit of a cunt. Because it means I can actually get a little bit pissy.
Yeah.
And people just think it's part of the show.
So, yeah.
I can actually be genuinely
Pissed
annoyed
off with someone.
and
like,
take some of that frustration out
and
on
they're
an
like,
individual
yeah,
member of the crowd.
encore.
Oh, this guy's
beautiful.
fucking hilarious.
Fucking artist.
No one could possibly
Yeah.
be really that much of a cunt, you know. And when I break character and I am actually nice,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, Squid's not really a cunt, you know. Like, whereas when Doc breaks character, goes from being one of these like sweet southern gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to show you some card tricks, sir. You know, like, and then he's like, you see him getting pissy, and the crowd's like, ooh, he's a little
this
bit
is not a part. This ain't a part of the
yeah,
magic show.
yeah. So it's like, it was a good compliment to be paid.
That is,
you know, it is worth already being a lovable cunt.
Yes, that's what we want to be.
It sounds very liberating.
It can be, but as long as lovable's there.
Yeah.
If it's just cunt,
Yeah.
and you're just a cunt, you will lose that crowd
Straight away.
quicker than
Oh, hell
a
yeah.
set of car keys.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah,
I think that's why Doug Stanhope is so beloved as well, because he's a good example of a lovable cunt.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he
yeah.
really is. He's a very lovable cunt.
Yeah.
Though I have been a non-lovable cunt many a times on stage before.
Yeah. Well, in order to learn how to be a lovable cunt on stage, I think you do have to be a non-lovable one.
Yeah.
Like, it
You
took
just have to be a horrid cunt sometimes.
some of the things that happened to me as a teenager doing shows. Like, I really pissed off people
Yeah.
walking past, and it's one of the reasons I went to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Is that I was like, I need to learn how to street perform in a different city.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
When you're not suffering the consequences.
where I'm not going to see the
Yeah.
same fucking people every day,
Yeah.
week, whatever, you know.
Well, I
like-
moved away from my city for almost the same reasons. Is that
Yeah.
I did not want to see these people anymore. I didn't
Yeah.
even want the air of possibility to be there to see these people. I did not want to walk out my front door and have even a 1% chance of seeing these people. I want to move as far away as possible, you know.
I just wanted to go away, fail a million times, get kind of good at it, and come back, and people go, "Oh, Squid's alright at that," yeah, you know, like, and not see me do all those like epic fail shows where I just can't get a fucking crowd and like no one's interested because I don't know how to like.
You haven't worked it out
at
yet,
17,
yeah.
18, you don't know how to fucking engage the crowd properly, and you're a kid.
Yeah, you're up
No
there.
one's fucking
You're
taking
throwing
you
mud at a
seriously.
wall and seeing what sticks, you know,
Exactly. You know, it's like, I wouldn't recommend that someone learned how to street perform at Salamanca. It's a really good place to do a show if you've already got a strong one.
But not a good place to grow your art.
Look, yeah, if you want to
Or grow
learn
your
how
show, I should say.
if you want to learn how to do a street show,
Yeah.
go to a really fucking busy city.
Yeah.
Go to a really fucking busy tourist city
Yeah.
where you can just go back into the crowd. If
Become
something
another
goes
place.
wrong, you
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, it's probably different now with CCTV, but like,
Well, they haven't got access to those cameras. So.
yeah.
Well, not a lot of people, I should say.
But like, there was a lot of anonymity in big cities when I started doing this. Like a lot more.
Yeah. So you could have the attention for the moment, but then easily slip back and disappear.
Yeah. Whereas like here, like the times that something has gone wrong in the show, like, you know, where something scary's happened or I've unnecessarily been a dick or whatever the fuck goes on, there's nowhere to disappear.
Yeah.
There's just nowhere to disappear, like, because the crowd is just gone after your show and it's now an empty street again. Whereas, like, where I've done most of my shows that weren't here, like where I did all my like teeth cutting shows, like learning shows, that's South Bank in Melbourne. And your show finishes. Suddenly there's still a crowd, but it's different people and they're all walking around. And so you wouldn't even know the show's even happening. And it's not part of a market. It's not part, like, you can just go down there and go, right, okay,
Get in, get out.
maybe, and be the only thing that's happening as well. You know, like, that was cool. And be able to do it, try it at different times. Like, I'm very limited here. I can only do Saturday mornings, or I used to do the Sunday market at the other place, but they won't let me anymore.
Have you had any arguments with other street performers where it's like, come on man, I have to spot first type of thing?
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff gets worked out, like, because most of us know each other. Like, the ones that do what I do, like, where, you know, there's a formula to this, where you go and conduct yourself in a certain way to attract attention, and then you get people to come in, and then you promise the thing, and you build up to the thing, and you do some other cool little things first, and then you build up to your finale. Ideally, you want to involve someone from the crowd, and And then when you're about to do your finale, you remind them that, hey, I'm a busker. I haven't asked you for any money yet. I'm not going to ask you for money now.
But
If you don't have any money, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you know, just so you know.
That's where you hit them with a checkbook.
Yeah, exactly. Just be like, you know, right when they're excited to see the thing, and just get them, you know, like ideally you want to have some like, you know, corny, funny lines in there about money because it is fucking awkward.
Yeah.
It is awkward asking for money.
It really is. I one of the shows I did at the start of this year, I had to get Cassie to go up to the bar staff behind because I felt terrible.
If I could just
asking for
interject,
money.
you're the one, like, Kaz is the one who does all of the
basically,
back end, all of the
all of
literal
everything.
admin.
Without her, I
Yeah.
am nothing.
Yeah.
I really am.
I am seeing, if you know, I mean, I don't know you super well.
Oh, it's
Daniel,
terrible.
but
It's not
yeah,
super.
This,
It is definitely not super.
It is a little problematic, this dynamic, in terms of labour
Well,
and gender
And
dynamics.
I don't get paid.
No, exactly. There was a lot of unpaid gender-based
Like,
labour.
I make
happening
coffees
here.
in the morning.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I'm making the coffee still.
Yeah. I would like to point out that the reason
In
the
any
reason
shape or
you're
form,
not
though.
in the conversation mostly is because you don't want to be. It's not.
Yeah.
Because it's not because we're talking over the
That's
top of you.
okay. I'm
That's
perfectly fine just
Yeah.
sitting here in
That's
the
another
corner.
thing.
I do
Well-
recall you saying you didn't want to be part of the podcast. It's fine.
I'm not a conversationist.
Yeah.
No, that's fair
Yeah.
enough.
There
I
are-
quite happily just sit in the corner.
There are some
and
times during
just-
my shows as well where I can see Cassie and she does not like being around some people. I'm like, hey everyone, that's my girlfriend, and just only put her, and then I
So I
feel
don't
terrible
go to many
afterwards.
shows anymore.
Yeah. I'm
But no,
sorry he's
thank
having
you so
such
much
a
for all your
negative
work.
effect on your life.
Before we got together,
Blink twice if you
Yeah.
God.
remember there's no dinner tonight if you don't act the part.
Mate, I have the money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
You
shit.
know what? I didn't even.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that. I'm like,
And
But,
that's why I have the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point.
we did have a cool conversation though before we officially got together. I was just like, look, I'm a failed musician. I have.
Oh, so
been.
you guys actually like going out?
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
proper
been together
going
since
out.
It's Facebook
last
official.
Hobofopo.
You're going out, going steady.
Going steady and
Oh.
growing very steady.
When my sister eventually moves out, he'll move in to pay the other half of the rent.
And,
All right,
and,
then you'll be cohabitating,
Yeah.
Yes,
living
yeah.
in sin.
And then I'll truly die because she'll probably kill me after a week, which will totally be really like
Well,
you
And I've
present
got
all the
dogs,
evidence
so
to the
there will
judge.
be no
yeah.
evidence.
I mean, that would be
Well,
the plan.
Yeah, all you'd have to do is like, yeah.
Do you know what I've started doing with housemates that don't do cleaning?
Oh,
I get them to hire a cleaner.
Ah,
Yeah.
I go, all right, if you don't do the day-to-day cleaning, I'm happy to do the fucking dishes, and if you leave dishes on the sink, I'm happy to do them, as long as once a month you pay someone
to clean. Yeah.
to come and actually do like a proper fucking clean of the house. You know,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how many people will do that.
Yeah.
I've done that with a couple of housemates.
I'm so happy I'm friends with Kirsten now because she's a cleaner and she'll do me maid's raids,
True.
so I don't have to do
I
dishes.
just don't have the energy after work to clean
Yeah.
the fucking house.
There are sometimes I feel terrible when I've just been like sitting in your bed playing WoW, and you get home. I could just see you've had a shit day at work, and I'm like, I didn't even clean a bowl today.
A literal shitty day.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you deal with human feces. Tell us
Yeah.
about human feces, Cassie.
Honestly,
What's been your best shit experience?
I'm numb to the shit at this point.
Shit numb.
Shit,
Yeah.
I
no.
believe it's known in the
Yeah.
profession.
You get to a certain point where it's like your job is just looking at and discussing shit.
Talking shit.
Shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Ah, the best shit talkers in town.
Pretty much.
So is that why you didn't want to be in the podcast?
She's like, I'm
You
gonna
know,
shit talk
you
all day
just-
at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had like experiences share housing where it's absolute like lines have been crossed where I'm like, how did it come to this? Like I found maggots in my favorite cup one time, and
Nice.
I'm like, what? Did like, how did this happen? I'm not even mad. I'm amazed. Like how
That's kind of cool. It's
yeah, it's
pretty
like
fun.
Yeah.
what?
See, I know I'd be a bad housemate because I don't clean.
Yeah.
So I don't do it. The only reason my sister lives with me is because she had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, we're getting better at cleaning these days.
well, I had a house inspection, so I kind of had to.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I fucking hate house inspections.
I think that's the only downside about being this busy at this end of the year is, especially if it's summer and it's nice and bright outside, I like having a clean house, and I honestly don't have enough time
So-
to
yeah,
do
yeah,
chores and
yeah.
stuff, so
How,
things sort of get away from me.
what's
so.
the cleanup like after a skrill?
You know what? most people are respectful. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually gotten better across the year because people understand what it is here. Like, they understand that that we don't get paid. Like, there's no janitor. Like, my bio on the gram is janitor at the Skrillzone. Because that's what it comes down to, really. That's my most important job is waste management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, if the council really wanted to shut me down and hey, take it and run with it, the powers that be, you've got me now. Just skip my house on bin night.
Oh yeah.
One time, just one fortnight.
Oh, you would be fucked. Oh yeah, you would be
it's over,
absolutely
dude.
fucked.
It's over, dude.
But
Like,
you need to make
You've
friends with
exposed your Achilles heel.
I
Yeah.
have, dude. Well, I'm an open book, you know what I mean? They could come to my house and
You need to
and
make
I'd be
friends
like,
with your garbage man
look
real
at
quick.
this. Look at this basement, and they'd be like, that's health code violation. That's
Yeah.
health code violation. Like, you know. Yeah.
Alright, so we need to make you friends with the garbage guys
Mhm.
and a contractor.
Wait, no,
Just-
you guys will love this. You won't believe it. I'm so glad I had witnesses today because it was hilarious. This morning, it was the day after Hobofopo, so people are loading gear back into my basement, right? I'm expecting a pretty busy driveway, like at least 3 carloads of people, right, coming here. There's a ring on my doorbell half an hour early than I'm expecting at 9:30. I'm like, who's this now? You know, it's a technician from Aurora Energy, the power company, and you know, he's a bit, how you going? Like, I don't mind the cut of his jib. I'm like, do you want a coffee, mate? Because he's just here to check my meter, and he's like, yeah. And I'm pretty dusty because I'm at the back end of a 3-day festival. I'm like, sorry for my state, mate. I'm pretty tired of just being
The
around.
folk punk's got me.
Yeah, I've been roped into another one, boys. But he's giving me the time of day. He's like, man, I heard you run shows here, and I'm
Oh.
like, are you reading my meter a bit too closely? Are you? Is what I look like on paper a bit sus? Is it? Like, I'm drawing too much power here.
Yeah.
But he turns around and hands me a sticker for his band and goes, if you ever book another metal show, fucking...
Oh, that is sick.
I'm in this band, and I'm like...
There you go.
Dude, you have to book him
And-
now. You have to.
Yeah,
book him.
Well,
You have to.
that's what I'm trying to get at, is
Yeah.
that it's out of my hands now. Like, it's as much as I want... For my own mental health and physical health, I want to slow down, and I'm within my rights to slow down.
Yeah.
Like, it's my house.
People can't get shitty at you for
I
that,
can pull
yeah.
the plug at any time.
No, I
But
probably will.
Look at the state of affairs. Like, if I slow down, there's a flow-on effect. Every single thing I do has an effect on every single aspect of every single other fucking thing. You know? So
Can you at least keep doing it till the end of March? I want to bring on him.
that's the thing. I have one booked next month. I have one booked in January. I've got shit lined up in February. So
What do you got in April?
Well,
Well,
why does my show be the first one that gets cancelled?
and then it's the Squid Zone. And then it's the wheel turns, dude. The wheel turns.
I don't think anyone's
dude.
going to come down and New Beta. Maybe.
You'd be surprised.
I guess there's definitely the facilities to put on a gig down at the Eco Village. I just have to convince all the old hippies all the
Yeah. But that was also the reason I started, is because I wanted to commit as hard as possible to the DIY ethos I've always pretended to propagate. I mean, I have always done things as much for myself and for other people as possible, but the reality is that I've always relied on venues
To
for
do
the
it.
backbone,
Yeah.
and as does everyone.
Yes.
There's a reason why people don't do it themselves, because it's really
Really
fucking
fucking
hard.
hard. Exactly.
You know,
I was
but I
talking.
wanted to show people that if you really fucking try, if you really put in the effort, it's possible. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because my name's on the door doesn't mean that there aren't zones everywhere for those with the eyes to see. You can go and start your own place anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Fucking
Like,
hallelujah, brother.
you know, yeah. Like, if like I gave in to despair and fear when Simple Cider shut, like, it'd be over. Like, I didn't want to live in a place or on a planet anymore where I wasn't able to perform or go and see my friends perform.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
Fuck that life.
that's the end of
yeah.
the story, really. Like, I wanted to have creative control over a space, be able to run shows the way I want to run shows. Like, and yeah, it's now coming up on close to a year, and I don't even have to get out of fucking bed to book people anymore. They come to my door and like say, "Here's
under the
here's
pretext
my
of reading
medal."
your meter.
Yeah.
You know, like my partner literally said, it's like you just rolled out of bed and some metalhead was like, "Can I play here?"
You're like, yeah, man.
That's great.
Rung your doorbell at 9:30 in the morning and goes like, "Can I shred in your basement?" You know.
You know what's funny is he's probably been working up to that for like a week or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Trying to get like.
There's got to be some excuse I can use.
Yeah, he gets to work that day. He's like, he's not reading the meters on your street, so he
Yeah.
switches them over.
Yeah.
That
But
is
he was a good
fantastic.
bloke.
Yeah.
I'd get him on. You know, I'm really interested. I asked him who he's played with, and he listed a bunch of bands that I know and are homies. So you know.
And also, if the power goes out, you got to help him out there.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah, but I've got his details.
And also, they're like,
What if it turns out like the cable guy?
Ah, shit! Wow. Yeah.
Starts doing you these favors, and then
Yeah.
before you know it, he did horrible things.
Well, actually, that's
Making your mum say rude words at a party.
Actually, I want to speak on that a bit, just like tangentially. I want to say, like, since doing this stuff and, you know, my name being put out everywhere and like people thinking that they know me and they don't actually know me, you really do feel some sort of social power and social capital congeal around you, and it can be quite uncomfortable and disconcerting a lot, because people will do a favor for you and expect to be now in with you and expect it to be returned in some way. I'm not saying everyone's like this. I'm saying there are certain people.
come and ask you for a favor.
Yeah.
One day that day, baby.
And
I
offer-
scratch your back, you scratch mine.
An offer I can't refuse. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, like,
Must
it's
be-
definitely not everyone. It's like
No.
it's definitely a small minority.
But it's something you got to be aware of as well. It's like if you deny that that's a thing, right? Like you fucking end up with a bunch of people around you like that.
And it's something that I didn't anticipate to happen, because I haven't had that experience in my life. I've gotten lucky where most people who've ever done me a favor don't pressure me to act in kind. Even though that's what I will do anyway, they don't take advantage of that. They don't. It's not a transactional relationship. It's not until I've been working this hard that people think that if they do something for me, then they'll get favors or they'll get perks. Like, especially feeling entitled to come to my events after they've acted abhorrently, you know, in a way where I have to address it and it reflects badly on me. You know, I can't complain though. Overall, like this has been one of the most stressful years of my life, but also one of the most rewarding. You know, I've met people and talked to people that I simply did not know existed before this year, who are some of the best people I've ever met.
That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had many people like doubt you at the start of like when you started putting on shows and all that?
Oh yeah.
But now they're like, hey man, can I play? I've always loved you, dude. I've always had your back. What are you talking about? I never shit talk you.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, there were quite a few people who were like, and they were speaking sort of from a position of not authority, but like we had a history together, and they were like, dude, we've tried this before. There's a reason why it doesn't work. We don't want you to lose your house. We care about you.
Yeah, so it's coming from a place.
It's coming from a place of care and love and understanding.
But also like a place of hopelessness.
But also, yeah, absolutely. But also, like, I was turning around to them and I'm like, it's really easy for you to say that because we're all older now and things have turned out very nicely for you. Either, you know, they've gotten some sort of reasonable inheritance from their parents, or they've managed to land a full-time job that's very cushy. They've moved up in the class structure. So it's very easy for them to turn around and say that, oh, well, you're not only clinging on to the past and not moving on from how things used to be, like things are changing now, towns always change and cities change, but also is this actually good for you personally? At the end of the day, you might actually be endangering your own livelihood and your ability to survive in this world. And I'm like, for me, I don't want to live in a world where there's where there's nothing happening culturally.
Yeah.
You know,
You'd rather be at that risk than have nothing at all. It really does outweigh the thing.
I'd rather have a place where I can watch bands than live in a place that looks like it's in a magazine.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
A lot of the really expensive houses are only fucking expensive because they look so shiny and pretty.
Yeah.
And that's fucked.
And because
aesthetics should be
does.
the last fucking concern when we're talking about housing people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
couldn't agree more.
No, exactly.
So fucking
Especially with the rate of homelessness that it is now. You're sitting there worrying more about what the fucking drapes look like than... It's like, fucking, come on, guys.
I mean, people living in their cars, why are we worrying about form when there's function to be attended to? We need roofs over people's heads.
Exactly.
I do feel like very, very strongly about all of this. It's sort of like a cyclical effect that it has on me where, like, at the beginning of all of this, I definitely felt some raw emotions, like a lot of anger, but I couldn't explain myself like I can now because I hadn't had time to reflect on really why I was doing it. I just knew that it's what I had to do.
Yeah.
It was only about halfway through the year when Dark Mofo was happening, and it was like a very festive time. Like, I went and saw Death Heaven, and like that's one of my favorite bands of all time. Sunbather I've been listening to for over 10 years, and I never thought I'd get to see it live, and they did. This is last year for the anniversary show, 2023. But they played Dark Mofo, so when Dark Mofo came back around this year, it's sort of a time where I get to fly under the radar. I get to put on, like, the show I did during Dark Mofo here was very special, because while drink prices are through the roof and the tourists take over the town, you actually can't get a coffee because there's a queue at your favorite coffee place. Like, your spots are getting blown up. But here, we're small enough and, like, not enough people, especially from out of town, know about us for it to be for the locals, it's something for the people who actually don't have any money,
Yeah,
that's it.
So, like, at that specific time, like, I sort of took stock of everything because it had been half a year, like, it was a milestone. And I was like, yeah, why did I start all this in the first place again? What's going on? What year is it?
Exactly.
And like, now that I'm nearing the end of the year, it's coming to that time again where it's like, well, why did I start this? Where am I right now? What does the future look like? And yeah, it's hard because it's coming to be a lot. As I said, I've said repeatedly here, like, it's out of my hands now. Like, I don't have to promote it. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing and a curse because I can't. If things happen to me or to this place, I don't know what the next step will be for me or for the community.
That's insane that you're putting it on the line like that. But
yeah.
someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
But also as well, like the way you're doing it also comes from just the most beautiful place. That I reckon, if it all did go to shit, the community would definitely rally around.
Well,
for sure.
But the thing is, I'm not. It's not that I'm sitting here asking for.
Maybe we just slice him up and eat him.
Well, I actually joked.
Fulfilled his purpose.
Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
We'd sacrifice him, we'd eat him, and then we'd.
I am actually the shrimp barbie.
You are the shrimp barbie.
Yeah.
That's right. It'll be the greatest shrimp barbie that we've ever had.
Yeah, deep fried prawn.
We'll eat to the memory of this place and start another venue.
I would love.
Did you know prawns taste with their feet? So when I shake someone's hand, I can actually get a.
You shake
get a strong
You
flavour,
shake hands with your feet.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
That's terrifying. I feel violated.
How do you think I feel?
Oh, yeah. I guess you know more about me than
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do I have to shake your hand?
You imagine how much your fucking dog knows about you.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I am pretty passionate about it, and I feel like I've done a good thing overall. But everything's connected to everything else, so everything comes at a cost,
And you also see it clearly as well because, like, you can put on the shows, but the shows aren't anything unless people come, right?
Yep.
And as we were talking about before, it's like, you know, people will always want to see live music and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and you can easily see it's like, okay, there's a bunch of people here who love playing music, who love watching music, you know, enjoying it. Or not even if they like music, they just like being around really cool people.
Yeah.
And fucking every time, you know, another place shut down, it's like, well, fuck it. So something like yours coming right up is all like just the perfect natural reaction to that.
And there's, as I said, the Hobart City Council is not a monolith. Like there are, I know for a fact that there are people on the Hobart City Council who know that what I'm doing has a very high value to the community.
Yeah, because a lot of them would have been going to shows in the 90s.
They obviously can't come out and endorse me for obvious reasons because they, you know, but you know, they've told me unofficially, like, we'll do everything we can to help you, but you know, politics is politics. There are definitely people on the council who don't like what I do, for the same reasons they wanted to shut Simple Cider down. You know, like, property developers and their mates on the council do not want there to be people drinking in the street, which is what Grinners does, and it's what Simple does.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's in the Midtown area where there's a lot of foot traffic between the CBD and North Hobart. So, when tourists come through, like Sydney-siders with all the money, and they think about living here, and they're walking through and they're seeing people drinking in the streets, like, oh, this is a bit young. Don't know about this, mate.
Well, there's a few people over there with acoustic guitars, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, man. Don't know if I want to live here.
Which is so weird to me.
I don't want them to live here either.
Exactly. Well, it's like, some people should sort these derelicts out. This is riffraff.
I've often expressed the opinion that I'd be happy to accept any migrant from anywhere on earth except mainland Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they've spent more than 6 months there, they can fuck off.
100%.
There go our plans.
100% go home, dude.
Yeah.
Alright, sorry, we gotta go now.
No, look, while you're our guest,
Yeah.
we'll treat you like fucking royalty.
I
don't want to chop off
as a
your hair,
mainland
actually.
as a mainland diplomat, I would have to say I'm trying to do best to heal relations.
See, I'm a bit of a mix because I was born and raised on the mainland, but then I lived for a fair chunk of time here when I was a kid still.
Cool.
So
I feel like
I definitely prefer it down here.
So
and
I've
the
married
mainland's
into yours then.
definitely fucking cool.
It is.
Not gonna lie.
You've got a dual passport. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
did they ever
I'm
try
a dual
that?
citizen at
Yeah.
this point.
Did Tasmania ever try that? Like WA, how it tried to annex itself from fucking Australia? They wanted to go their own country.
Didn't
No,
WA
they know
have
what's
its
good
own,
for
like,
them.
Yeah.
We just not
They wanted to do
Yeah,
that.
that's
I
what
thought
I
they
mean.
Relying
actually
too much
did.
resources.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, there's too much.
Too much shit we need from off the island.
There's too much weight down here for us to have any of those big kind of thoughts, you know. Like, you know.
Yeah, all the methods up on the mainland, we got to get shit done to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why you guys have all the jobs because
Adelaide.
you have all the energy.
Yeah, we do.
South
Yeah.
Australia, the productive state.
Yeah.
Tasmania, the procrastination.
The slogan for Port Pirie is the town of opportunity, and it's like, yeah, the town of opportunity, they smoke incredible amounts of meth.
The town of opportunity squanders.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's that they're creating opportunities that no one needs.
Yeah. The opportunities to give your fucking kids lead poisoning. Yeah, I've said, harping back to about being, you know, an unnecessary cunt on stage. There have been a couple of times where I've said, so I was like, okay, who's moved to Port Pirie in the last 5 years and had kids? And some people raise their hand. I'm like, congratulations, you've just signed their fucking death note, you cunts. Here's this song. So I'm not very well liked.
Oh man, it's one of these things, right? So like, I used to hang out in Brunswick a lot as a teenager and in my 20s, and one of the places that some friends of mine ended up getting hold of was like this warehouse space. And there were a few of them. They were dotted around Brunny at the time, and you only paid like, if there were a bunch of you living in one, you'd only pay $50 a week rent.
Yeah.
You'd have a whole fucking corner of a warehouse to yourself.
Yeah.
And like, you could be fucking welding and
Yeah.
fucking doing music, whatever. People were doing all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't
raps
just
and
artists
everything.
living there. It was like tradies and shit as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like punk weirdo tradies.
Yeah.
But tradies. And like, it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. It's Melbourne's not really like that anymore. But it was really good at that time.
Yeah.
But then it's not like that anymore because of that gentrification factor. And Unfortunately, the reality of it is, we gentrified it.
Yeah.
It was, you know, lots of small, independent, weirdo artists that started doing, you know, this and the Brizzy and various.
Well, it comes
scales
back to
in
this.
between.
You made it too cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the problem.
We provided entertainment.
Yep.
People came for the entertainment.
And
they
stayed
enjoyed
for
and
the-
stayed
Yep.
because it was fun and there was lots of entertainment. There was already good food because there were lots of migrants.
Yeah.
And the migrants have managed to cling on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just put their prices up for their
Because
food.
because they have their own cultural niches that they can cultivate and take care of. You know, like
that's always my biggest argument for immigration. Is like, I don't want to go to India for a good curry. Let everyone come here.
Yeah, man.
It's so much better. I can't afford the flights. Everyone come here. If they come.
I grew up here in the 90s and everyone was my cousin, and now there's actually faces I don't recognise. It's great.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I definitely like Tasmania socially more than I do like.
Yeah.
In terms of how to fucking keep live original music happening and as far as how expensive it is to live here and blah, 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 that all fucking sucks monkey balls, but at least it's not just fucking ignorant inbred fucking idiots here anymore.
Because something
myself included, my family are almost certainly inbred.
Yeah.
You know, we've been here for fucking generations.
My family's
You
inbred.
know, like we like
We've got to break the cycle.
yeah.
Well,
exactly.
not only am I definitely inbred on my dad's side, I also got dropped on my head as a kid, so that probably has something to do with what the fuck I'm doing now. You know?
Yeah, cool.
I'm definitely a few cards short of deck, you know.
My mum's English and did heroin just before fucking she found out she was pregnant with me, so I've got
That
a lot of
explains
issues.
so much.
She didn't do heroin when she she found out I was pregnant, by the way. I want to set that clear. She dropped everything and never touched another drug.
Yeah.
She's a great woman.
Yeah.
She's gonna hate me for that, but sorry.
We could
Mum.
just we can put bleeps over it.
yeah.
Oh god, no.
Redacted.
I can just show them, just like, see, this is why I keep saying we should have had an abortion. Sorry, Mum, I do love you.
Yeah. Yeah, but in terms of like the community like rallying around me, they already have. You know, and I've felt really humbled and honoured that I've had this much support. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen when I was doing this. When I started all of this, I thought there was a feeling of euphoria when I started this, because it's a really, for me, it's a sacred space, and for a lot of people, it's a sacred space. When I started all of this, people were ecstatic. They were so excited. They were like, "This is awesome! Like, yeah, we're winning." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry to be a pessimist about it, but like, we're actually losing. None of this is sustainable. Like, if it's just me putting up the money and also doing most of the labor, and also look at where we are. We're in my basement. Is this the place that you want to be?"
Yes.
Like,
Fucking oath I do.
Yeah,
No,
we're in a fucking life raft.
Yeah.
We're not on a cruise
exactly.
ship, you know?
And hey, it's a beautiful view out here on the ocean blue. You know, like on this life raft, like.
Yeah.
But you know, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. You know, like
actually, fucking
like
good point.
that's what it's at. You
At
know,
some
like
point we need to find a proper vessel.
Yeah.
at some point we got to find land, mateys. You know,
I'd find it hilarious that, like, when it's all said and done, the council just gives in and like, just fucking give him his own venue. Like, that'd be
at least
hilarious.
I had this crazy idea when I started all this. Like, the reason why I called it the Skrillzone is because when you brought up gentrification and stuff, I'm like, I have in my head canon, this like concept of like slut city planning, just abolishing all zoning laws.
Yeah.
And now you have like just a complete mixed city layout where you have an office on top of a cafe, you know, people living in a back room, you know, like who also work at the office, or they might work at the cafe downstairs. You know, there's a family living like, you know, on a corner beneath another shop, like a tattoo parlor or something, you know, like doing away with all this stuff where it's like, this is the central business district. This is where everyone goes to get all of the things. It's like, that's how COVID became so rampant, is we have the perfect vector system. We have places where everyone has to go.
Yes.
Do you know, during Puritan England, theatre was banned because they
Good.
considered it was
No more
happier
Hamiltons.
times.
End it.
But for a lot of religious reasons, but also for a health reason, they were concerned it was spreading the plague, and they were right.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
They were more worried about incantations and
Right.
all of that stuff, and people learning large bodies of text and reciting them, and actors, you know, they didn't like the idea that actors could read and shit, you know, like there's all that stuff as well. But then the main primary concern seems to have been health, which is kind of hilarious because
That they worked it out.
yeah, they worked it out. Like they
In
looked
the 1600s, they were like social distancing far better.
yeah, and also it's funny when you put it in the context of like at one point in ancient Rome, I forget the year, they put on some theatre because there was a plague. They wanted to like appease the gods because like theatre was still a really religious thing back then, and the irony of it is it would have spread the plague way more.
Yeah.
Heaps more people would have got it.
Yeah, pretty negative review of the.
Yeah. It was ice stuck and falling out in the second act.
Yeah.
2.5 stars.
But yeah, so the point of like slut city planning and like the logical conclusion I come to is the Skrillzone, where it's like I want it to be like as fucking wild as it sounds. I want amnesty.
Yeah.
I want the usual noise laws to not apply to me. Like I you know, I don't
like with that.
No,
I want it too. But...
That's why I'm saying it's the wildest notion ever.
Yeah.
Like, but like that's why it's called the Skrillzone, because it's like, okay, well there are many different zones in a city. Why can't I have my zone? You know,
Skrill, this is signed for skrilling. This
this is just, you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be, you know, my own fucking state. I want amnesty.
Yeah.
I want the powers that be to understand that this is a communal space. This is a space where everyone can come and make art and play music, and it costs no money.
Yeah.
Really. Like it hurts no one financially apart from me, and honestly, fuck my money.
Yeah.
I don't want it. You know.
You just want to jam, man.
I just want to watch some cool shit happen.
Fucking
That's
A.
it, you know.
Don't be fucking cool.
Yeah, I want to watch bands a lot and perform sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
So
That's all I really want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I want to do
that's.
some gardening too. Mess around
Speaking
in
of
the
which, I'm
I'd
gonna
love to
start
learn to
potato
cook
patch here. Yeah.
I'd love to learn to cook lasagna one day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy.
I can teach you lasagna.
I know, but I don't have the
Okay,
attention
have a
span
good-
at the moment.
I have a very good lasagna.
But
My mum makes an amazing veggie lasagna.
Oh,
It is of particularly high caliber.
When I was vegetarian, when I was a teenager, my mum she got me the Maggie Beer vegetarian cookbook she had. There was like zucchini lasagna fucking recipe in there. She made it for me one day. It was like, oh, the best, absolute best. God bless that woman, Maggie Beer.
Nice.
Oh.
Real entrepreneur, I think.
Oh yeah.
You know, she really does run her shit. You know, like.
And she's generational. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I grew up
fucking
watching
true.
Maggie Beer, and she's still going today.
Yeah.
Like, when she went into hospital recently, it was
Wait, what?
everywhere.
When did she go into hospital?
A couple months ago, what happened? Did she fall or something?
I hope not.
But she was in hospital, and it was like all over the news, and it was all on my Facebook and everything.
I don't keep up with Maggie Beer monthly.
I do. I try.
I don't either, and it was still all over it.
Yeah.
I will always stop what I'm doing to watch an episode of The Cook and the Chef.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm
It's such a good show.
It
That's
is.
such good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to take a piss. How long have we been going for?
Probably go hours. It's coming up.
Yeah, an hour and 41. Should we end it there?
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, wrap
Skrill.
up. Thanks so much, Daniel.
No, thank you
And
so much
Cass.
for...
Yeah, that was
Like-
fun.
Yes, thank
For
you,
real.
Cassie, for doing
Yeah,
a
thank
lot
you.
of the legwork.
Yeah.
Always.
And thank
Yeah.
you, Squid, for your
Oh,
beautiful stories.
Thanks for having me around.
No, and yes, definitely thank you, Skrill, for letting me come in and ask a bunch of questions.
That's all good. My name is really fun to slur.
It actually
you
is.
drinks and
Yeah.
like screw.
Alright. Stop.